Hey, everybody. This is Annette Dion, the host and founder of the Psychic News Network. It is Saturday, September 18th, 2021. I hope you're all doing great, especially in light of the rally to support the murderous criminals of January 6th. What did I say? It deflated. I called it Deflategate. Like what happened to the Patriots a while back. Anyway, you may not have followed that, but I live in Massachusetts, so yeah. Deflategate. We can't gloat. We really can't. Because we've kind of overdid it on the security, if I can say that, and we have to look at. This made America look really foolish, like too little, too late, or too much, too late in terms of security. I think that the guy who organized that, who was working for Trump for some time, that I don't know his name, but he, probably has that horrible feeling like when you get your party catered and you invite all these people and you hope they're all coming, you plan on them all coming, and then you're all set to go, and a quarter of the people that you invited show up, and you end up with all this extra food. And I've been there. But this is different. I have a bunch of questions that I wrote out for today's video, and I wrote them out because I have time. I have extra time today. And one of my favorite things in the whole wide world on a Saturday afternoon is to sit around reading cards. So here, now I have people watching. It's good. If you subscribe and if you share, the chances of me getting 1,000 subscribers sooner are better. So I need 1,000 subscribers before I can go live. I used to do Facebook Live for my Psychic News Network. That's kind of how I started. Switched to YouTube because I think I can get a more consistent audience here. So if you could help me, that'd be great. I hope I helped you. So let's get things rolling. Let me see. Of course, we're going to ask about what happened with this big rally. What happened with this, going from like 10,000 protesters to, I think they only have like a couple hundred. That's what I heard. Not sure what you heard, but I heard about 200, and I heard somewhere there was like one arrest and they found one knife. But we really can't get a false sense of security, because this could have been that. This could have been, to get us to feel like, oh, we're all good, we're all out of the woods now. Who knows? Let's take a look at that. So what happened with this rally? I feel like, 45 was, I get the death card. It's over. 45 was the big uniter, and I hate to say it, but he had a lot of Adolf Hitler's kind of, right out of that Hitler's playbook, is how to get people to follow you and to be on your side no matter how horrible your rhetoric is. And that's kind of what we got to see. Boy, that death card is just staring me in the face. I just shuffled all the cards and it keeps on popping up on the bottom of the deck. What do you think about that? So I just want to ask about whether it really has gone away. Whether this, are we in a false sense of security? Because, it was just like starkly it was the polar opposite experience to see what happened there today. With all this security and the National Guard and more Capitol Police and the military, being ready to, the National Guard being ready to, handle any trouble, all the police ready to make arrests, and FBI, Secret Service, all that. There's a lot of money. The fence going up. We live in interesting times, don't we? We shouldn't have a false sense of security. I'm not saying that I see anything heinous coming up that's imminent, but I do, the death card indicates the end of something. we're coming up on a full moon, and I mistakenly told you it was going to be in Aries, but it's actually not. It's Aries later on Monday. The full moon is, that's how I got confused. The full moon is on Monday. Later in the day, it's in Aries. The full moon hits early in the day in Pisces. So that's a lot different from Aquarius meets Aries, because over the weekend it's in Aquarius. Today it is, anyway. I don't get too hung up on the times, because, you know, we have the influence of that, like somebody posted, you know, we have the influence of the full moon energy for 3 whole days. The Nine of Swords. Okay, so what I'm asking about is what happened there. And the Nine of Swords is like, they heard too many things. Those who thought about coming out today and protesting in Washington heard too many things that scared them. They actually heard that they would come under attack, but I don't mean like they would be bombed or anything. I just mean they would be in big trouble. And actually a lot of the people that were there on January 6th and didn't return was actually, that was because they were afraid of what could happen to them, because they saw what happened with some of the other insurrectionists. The Seven of Wands, we still have a challenge with this. Like I said, we don't need to have a false sense of security, because, you know, they're still out there. The people that want to fight and want to own the libs are still out there. And it's very, very, very sad that the common decency, the respect for one another is seemingly, you know, out the window. It's really up to all of us to show people that caring, reaching out, respecting one another, being polite, having manners, that kind of thing is definitely preferable. You don't have to be loving and hugging on everybody, but we do have to be respectful. And we see so little of that nowadays that actually eventually it's going to become like a novelty. And then, you know, you'll stand out above all the rest when you're the one that's kind and compassionate and caring. And it is contagious. You know, what is it? You attract more flies with honey, or they say bees with honey, but that doesn't even make any sense, because bees make honey. Anyway, I digress. So the full moon energy, full moon in Pisces would mean that this is a really good weekend to be feeling spiritual, to meditate. Be careful that you don't imbibe too much, because actually Piscean energy likes that spacey feeling. So just make sure you give yourself a cutoff if you have a couple of drinks. That's all I'm saying. Or you'll be sorry. I just thought I'd throw that in. But the Pisces is the most spiritual sign, I think, of the zodiac. You know, you might have a different opinion on that, but Pisces is really, you know, kind of rules that. Sort of reflective, meditative. Water signs tend to be more into the spiritual. Like Scorpio, people are really very psychic. If you have a lot of Scorpio in your chart, I do, you tend to be more psychic. All right, here, I have a whole list. My iPad here. How are 45 supporters feeling about this deflation, this deflate gate on September 18th? The meaningful cards keep popping up at the bottom of the deck. Okay, so remember when I said people have lost their way? They're feeling kind of lost. And we have to have compassion. Like I was talking about last time, a lot of these people have been Republicans for generations, and they fell into, you know, they kind of fell into being on the same track as somebody who's a sociopathic, malignant narcissist. If you don't like me saying that, I'm just stating the facts. If you go down a checklist of malignant narcissism, 45 meets all the criteria. People that are mean to one another, I'm not ever going to be a fan of. Why would I? And, you know, just for those people that have a problem with what I'm saying about 45, it's because he's proven himself to be an evil, nasty human being with lots and lots of racism, you know, energy. And proof of that, no matter where you look. Seriously. So, how's he feeling about the rally today? Well, you know, this is part of it. Now what? That's what the guys are saying. 45's feeling about September 18th, the big rally that he was all like gung-ho about. Which actually, when he was in support of this rally today, he just basically, like he always does, outed himself in terms of owning that he was responsible for that insurrectionist, almost successful coup. He's not very bright. He's just not very bright. It's like, what can I say? What else? I hope you're enjoying your day. It was we've had that cave weather. They call it cave weather. Damp, cold, so foggy last night when I was driving home. I could barely see. I had to drive really slow. I was afraid a coyote would run out into the road or something. Really, really foggy and very, very damp. But the sun is coming out. So I'll go back outside after I do the reading. All right. So the Princess of Swords. This is interesting because this is how 45 is feeling. And then I see somebody who's like, could be like a publicist or PR person for him who's really, really wanting 45 to see the bright side. I don't know if that's going to be successful. The Temperance card is, you know what? I just want to tell you what I really pick up strongly is the angels and the guides were on our side. I was praying this morning, and as I was praying this morning for the Capitol to be protected and the White House to be protected and sending white light there and asking Archangel Michael to stand guard, and you know, I know that I was doing that. And this Temperance card is really just, I just feel the sense of there are a lot of people doing that today. In the face of what happened on January 6th, which I've shared with you before, I was praying like crazy before that and getting other people to do the same, and fortunately we lived. But, you know, I really just want to encourage everybody, when things aren't going in a good direction, you don't know. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt one bit. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But it's not going to hurt to send positive intentions. If you're not into the God prayer thing, so what? It doesn't matter. Just send positive thoughts. Really, I know I go on about that, but I feel very strongly about that because I know it works. So I just want to dig a little bit more into how he's feeling. Like, is it going to make him want to just go into hiding, go into hibernation, or, you know, 45? The guides are saying no, it's not going to do that, because he's got somebody in his ear going rah rah rah. And I just had the news on a little bit ago, and it just makes me do the eye roll when I hear people talking about 45 running for president in 2024. You know, several of us psychics don't really even see him in 2024. I'll just leave it at that. Oh, this card came up again. Oh, this is Ivanka. Oh, duh. It even looks like her a little bit. I mean, with the blonde and, you know. You know, I feel like Ivanka is really working hard on getting him to understand what's really happening, which, you know, backs up my theory that he's losing his mind. And I mean, I'm not just saying that like, oh, you're going crazy. I mean, just losing his mind. I feel like he's going to race back in. 45, I feel like he's going to race back in. Because this is his mentality. It's like being in the boxing ring, like he was talking about getting in the boxing ring last week on September 11th, a week ago. He was talking about getting in the boxing ring with Biden and knocking him out. So this is the mentality that's coming up now. How does he feel about this being this deflate gate of September 14th? How is 45 feeling about it now that it's just wound up? Whatever there was of the rally just wound up. How is he feeling about that? Not like, oh, maybe I should just keep a low profile. Let's jump back into the ring and fight more and fight harder. That's why I said we can't have a false sense of security. It's a lot less than it was 1 year ago in terms of needing to I don't know, keep our wits about us, put it that way, because I never say need to worry. That's just a ridiculous thing to say. The Ace of Cups, though, is saying that this has been a pretty major win for, not to gloat, but it's been a pretty major win for, you know, your average American who just wants to see this country peaceful. Is that too much to ask? Sometimes it seems like it. All right, so that's how he's feeling. And is he going to run again? I answered that question before. There's too much on his plate to run for president again. And good Lord, he can't even put two thoughts together that make sense. He doesn't even read. Why would anybody want that? It's so dangerous. And with the book coming out, Peril, I think it's coming out in a couple of days. We've heard a lot of excerpts to the point where I keep thinking it's already come out. But that book is going to actually cause people to stop and think. And the guides are telling me there are some Republicans that voted for 45. And it's a significant number of Republicans that voted for him. I can't give you exact numbers, but I just have this sense. Of course, it's not exact numbers. Most psychics don't do that, right? That's like calling the lottery numbers. But I just have this sense that that book, Peril, is going to be make some people, a significant number of people, sort of lean in the direction of being independent. If not Democrat, being independent. I see a third party. You know, I see a third party. I know there are three parties anyway, like including independents, but I actually see a subgroup. I see a subgroup of Republicans, but not really. And they're not called rhinos. It's like Republicans, but not really. Maybe they're called R, B, and R. You know, okay, so this is like, I'm just talking about 2024. Yeah, the justice system is going to just take him out of even thinking about being in the race. We'll talk about Pence in a second. Too many nefarious things that happened behind the scenes around January 6th for him to ever run for president again. 45 is not going to run for president again. There's too many things intervening. And the King of Wands. This card has represented Joe Biden in past readings, and I feel like Joe Biden is going to be really working hard, kind of like, I just see Joe Biden having like, this is very Scorpionic. He's a Scorpio. I'm going to just go straight for, you know, keep, you know, getting this country healed and back on its feet. So this is Joe Biden. And so 45, the justice system will get in the way. Even though he's feeling like he wants to jump right back into the ring, much like after he had COVID and he wasn't even better and he just jumped back into the White House, got everyone else to have COVID. If you read that book, I Alone Can Fix It, it's an interesting thing because it's 1 year ago today. It's a book about, you know, recent events, as in 1 year ago today, where we were. And a year ago, this very beginning of October, 45 got COVID. Remember that? And that jumping back into the ring energy definitely is the thing that he has. That's why I got that Chariot card. Okay. So things though. So when the guides are just giving me more information about 45, I'm getting like there's a muddled. Things are all muddled up for him right now. All muddled up. Like, I feel like this, I actually feel like this flop of a rally caught him off guard. I think that just really threw a wrench into the works in terms of the way he was thinking. So he's probably in denial right now and probably saying about, you know, the crowd size. Oh, we're back to that. There was a huge crowd. What do you mean there were only 200 people? I can totally see that. Can't you? I can totally see that. It was the biggest crowd ever. It was the biggest rally ever. I could totally see him going. It was bigger than Black Lives Matter. I really can see that. It's ridiculous. All right. Enough about him. How about the GOP that propagate the big lie? I wrote that question down because I was wondering, in the face of this flop of a rally, what the GOP Republicans that are just out there touting the big lie, the big lie, the big lie, this was unfair, he's really still president, how they're feeling about the rally. And I actually do pick up, they're pretty surprised too. They thought maybe 1,000, but they didn't think a couple hundred. So in general, I mean, like the Josh Hawleys, the Ted Cruzes, the Kevin McCarthy's, the Gomerts, the Mo Brooks, the Marjorie Taylor Greens, the Boebert, all of them. There are more. The list goes on, right? How are they feeling about this rally today that was supposed to be in support of the big lie and the insurrectionists? How are they feeling? Justice. Don't you love it? And the fool. And they're trying to figure out how to like overcome the obstacle of clearly less people being willing to show up to support the insurrection and the big lie. They're trying to figure out, I love that the justice card came up and that the fool card came up. They're starting to feel like they might look like they have egg on their face. Not that they have regrets. They're just feeling like about their appearance, how this makes them look. You know, when you look at these guys, it's all about the money, right? All about the money, all about the money, all about the money. They all have big fat holes in their souls. And just be grateful that you're not a person like that. Because I know you're not. If you're watching my channel, you're a nice person. Right? Am I right? If you're watching my channel, you're a nice person. Okay. All right, so what made the rally fizzle out? I think I covered that. I'm going to move my questions over here. Is there going to be a redo? I thought that was a good question. Are they going to try again? And then I see, for some reason, the cards that are showing up after I shuffle on the bottom of the deck are very much appropriate. I don't think there's going to be a redo. I don't think they're going to do this again. I don't think that the 45 people, you know, his family of fans, I don't think they're going to do another rally. And I think this whole idea about, you know, like they've been all along going, oh, on August 13th, he's going to be reinstated. Oh, on September 18th, we're going to have a rally and we'll, I don't know, try to overthrow the government again or whatever. But by the way, the guy just saying that fence was a big part of the reason people didn't show up. And even if that fence wasn't there, they wouldn't have had enough people. Like what happened on January 6th, thank the goddess, will never happen again, ever. So just let's be in a place of gratitude, and let's also be in a place of just, you know, thank you for the grace, right? I don't see another rally. I don't. Okay, so what else? Is America moving towards minority rule and an apartheid type situation? I'm asking that, you know, namely because Joy Reid on MSNBC has been mentioning that, you know, and we don't think about that too much because, you know, apartheid in South Africa and all that horribleness that was going on in the 90s. You know, it's a bit far away for some people to remember. A lot of people were just too little or they weren't even born yet then. But what Joy Reid is pointing out frequently is, you know, we could go to minority rule where these, you know, corrupt politicians do everything in their power to support white supremacy and to attempt to make this government not a government by the people and for the people, but a government that is a government of the elite, and only the elite, like 10% of the population, making all the rules and telling you how to live your life and what you can and cannot do. And massive racism, of course, that kind of goes without saying. So I'm asking the question, are we going to go, is America heading towards minority rule? Which would mean these horrific Republicans are in charge of our lives. I do want to ask too, and I will, about the women's rallies in support of women's rights, fighting for women's rights, the right to choose, October 2nd. Oh my goodness, that's only 2 weeks away. Where's the time going? So, all right, it's going to look bad for a little while. It's going to look bad. It's going to look like we're losing our rights. I think that's where we are right now. I have the sense that the guys are saying, here's where we are. Everything's broken. Everything's broken. Just, you know, we're looking at the broken vessels. We've worked so hard, and what for? You know, we've worked so hard to keep our democracy going as a civilization, as a country for over 240 years, and is it all for naught? Are we just going to lose it? That's where we are now. And the guides are saying this card is about the blessing in disguise. Don't not look at the blessing in disguise of this being the thing when, you know, the rubber hits the road and people really get, oh my gosh, we're losing our democracy. Don't underestimate the power of that to motivate people. It's going to feel like at the last minute, people finally jump in when it gets so dire that's like, kind of like you feel like you're breathing your last breath. Probably a bad example in this age of COVID, I'm just saying. And that might be connected, you know what I mean? It is making us somber and serious and to take responsibility and take action in this democracy. So, no, the Queen of Swords says the women are rising up. We will not be a country that has to succumb to minority rule like what happened in South Africa during apartheid. We won't. However, it's going to come because we're so broken and we don't want to miss the opportunity. And it's the women. I get Stacey Abrams coming up really strongly. Keep an eye on Stacey Abrams. I know that we're not in a time right now where we see a lot of her in the news, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and I'm picking up Warnock, Raphael Warnock, which I love his name because it's an angel name. Raphael is the healing archangel. So Raphael Warnock and the other one, whose name escapes me at the moment, but I can see his face. Remember, they won in Georgia on January 5th, which is what kind of ignited the insurrection. Yeah. But I feel like Stacey Abrams and Warnock especially. And the other one's name will just pop right into my head as soon as I finish my video. Okay, so you don't have to remind me. I'll figure it out. So I feel like Stacey Abrams is... I'm seeing a big giant organization that Stacey Abrams is heading. So just in regards of this country going to minority rule, no, because of voting rights will be something that the guides are showing me it's going to be a big deal. Fighting for our voting rights is going to turn into a big deal. I do see people on the streets, and see the Empress is coming up, and that means we're going to take all the resources that we have, and we're going to get our voting rights back. We're going to be screaming very loudly, enough is enough. And it's going to look precarious for a while, but we will get it back, because the Empress wouldn't have shown up if we weren't. Now, I don't want you to get that false sense of security just keeps coming up. Don't get a false sense of security and feel like it's okay, they all can do it. Like the women's rally that's coming up, don't just not go because you want other people to just go in your place because it's too inconvenient. Show up. Numbers matter. And don't ever succumb to, oh, it's just little old me, I don't matter. I don't tell people what to do, but I'm just saying, it's not preferable to act like, oh, well, it's just little old me, I don't matter. You do matter. We all matter. And numbers count. You know? Okay, so, what's up with Pence running for president? Oh my gosh. He's not even appealing, and you know, speaking of appealing, he's gonna appeal to 45 for support, and there are no words. That's why I'm stuttering. There are no words. And you know, when 45 occupied the White House and the insurrection has happened, he was going to let them hang Mike Pence. The guides are showing me Pence has a thing, I don't know what you call it. It's like a mental block where he's able to block things. So Mike Pence was able to block the reality of 45 almost had him executed. He actually called for people to go get Pence to kill him. So Pence has this ability to just block things out. And I can't say on this video what I pick up on Pence, kind of like the secrets that Pence has. But let's just take a look at the cards. I'm sorry, I hate to do that to you, but sometimes I have more information that I can divulge than I can divulge on a YouTube video. And I have not put out my information to those who have asked about what I see behind the scenes. Because this channel is for entertainment purposes only, and I can't tell you everything. If you get a reading from me, I can kind of sneak it in there. Just saying. Okay. What's going to happen with Pence? I just cannot believe that he would be going to kiss the ring of 45 for his endorsement. And I can't even believe that people are still treating him like he's the emperor when the emperor has no clothes. The death card's coming up. I don't think Pence is good. America's going to be like, are you kidding me? This is the America card. And the Six of Cups. I feel like he's going to get talked out of it. I feel like Pence is going to get talked out of it by his family. Remember, he has daughters, and they were there the day of the insurrection. I feel like he's going to get talked out of it by his family. I don't think Pence is going to run. Let's ask the pendulum. I mean, I know there's a lot of talk about that, but look, people, it's only 2021. It's 3 years away. So I'm just going to ask the pendulum, is he going to change his mind and not run for president? Is Pence going to change his mind and not run for president? And I'm getting, yes, he'll change his mind. He's just sort of like poking around at the idea and making some news. And even, you know, the guides are saying attention getting. Pence is kind of, you know, he likes attention. But he doesn't like people digging deeper. Maybe he's afraid of what they'll find out. You think? Speaking of being afraid of what people might find out, I have said repeatedly, we're switching to the Democrat topic, sort of. Because I have been saying that Joe Manchin is driving me bananas. Because I, and probably you too, also have the experience of when somebody lies, you just can't stand it. And when they lie and they're being corrupt, I really can't stand it. Like, I just have to take a few deep breaths and just go, calm down, because you're getting too upset that this person is lying through his teeth. That's Joe Manchin. So, Joe Manchin's daughter, you might know this. I did not know this. She was involved in a scandal. I'm going to call it a scandal where, you know, big corporate farmers, big pharma, hiked up the price of the Epipen by hundreds of dollars. The Epipen is something that's necessary for people who are highly allergic to things like peanuts and bee stings. So if you have a child who is, you know, has a potentially lethal allergy to, say, a bee sting, you need an Epipen, right? The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. This is Joe Manchin's daughter. And mother, because she was involved too. Hiking the price, getting a monopoly on the Epipen, hiking the price up and not even letting people buy one rather than two. And I'm talking the price went up from like 100 to 600. And then Gail, Manchin's wife, was going around to schools coercing them into funding, buying these EpiPens at this exorbitant rate. Now that's called evil. I'm sorry, that's evil. That's evil. So Joe Manchin can go take a hike I'm being polite. And it's unfortunate that Joe Biden has to keep sitting down with him and, you know, treating him with like kid gloves and, oh, well, gee, Joe, would you like it? Mr. Manchin, if we did this, would you like it better? Give me a break. Who are these people? Breathe. So I'm looking at what's going to go on with Joe Manchin. Is he going to be outed? Boy, Five of Cups keeps coming up. The Five of Cups keeps coming up around the Republicans today. The Knight of Pentacles indicates they've got some stuff on Joe Manchin. And this is pointing to that the Democrats will get their way. Haha. Now, I'm not going to call it blackmail. I'm going to call it injecting a little bit of what they know about Manchin into the conversation. In other words, like, gee, Joe, you might want to cooperate. Not even like, because we know and we're going to blackmail. Not that. Just, he knows that they know and that they could say something about illicit activity of his family, of Joe Manchin's family, around, and the Hermit Card is coming up, around Big Pharma and corruption and extortion. Now, I haven't read enough about what happened with that case with the Big Pharma companies. Someday we can do a read on Big Pharma. But I'm picking up, he's going to be on the losing end. Joe Manchin's going to be on the losing end. And see, here I was thinking that it was, you know, big coal and big oil, but it's not just that with him. That's part of it. I feel like too many people know about his family's criminal activity. And I mean, there's crimes like you can steal a loaf of bread, and then there's crimes like you can just like DeSantis and Abbot. Here I go. Like there are crimes like I'm going to steal a loaf of bread. Well, you can make another loaf of bread, and all is good, and it's bad to steal and all that. But when you're messing with people's lives, when it's we're going to take away the right for you to live if you have an allergy attack, little girl, little boy, mostly. We're going to just let you die if you can't afford the Epipen. It's not a loaf of bread. And that's evil. And I'm telling you, if you're a good human being and you're watching the behavior of these people and it's really upsetting, just be grateful that you're not one. Just be grateful that you're not one of them. We don't know what kind of karma it happens, but karma's real and it does happen. What goes around comes around. And sometimes it takes a while. Like we've been waiting for 45 to have what's coming to him come back around. And, you know, part of it is he's pretty miserable. That is part of it. So Joe Manchin, what was I going to ask? Let's see. Why is Manchin being so difficult? Well, I answered that before. I'm just looking over my questions. What's going on? Manchin is being so difficult. I answered that the other night. I just wrote it down again. Because he has to do the bidding of his donors. I guess that doesn't take a psychic, but I really do see it. Manchin is being so difficult because he's being paid billions of dollars. I got billions popped in. I don't know how much money he has, and I don't know if it goes directly into his pocket. I should look up his net worth. That's why he's being so difficult. Because he's lost his moral compass. He no longer, I don't know if he ever had a moral compass, but the guides are telling me when he was governor, Manchin, he did have a bit of a moral compass, but it's gone now. It got bought. He sold it. It's like selling your soul to the devil. Joe Manchin sold his moral compass. All right. Let's see. What else do I want to... I want to ask what Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley are up to these days. Why? because I believe that, and McCarthy too, so let's lump him in. I believe that those three were the most complicit, Mo Brooks too, in the insurrection. So where are they at collectively, the four of them? Mo Brooks, Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley, and McCarthy. What are they thinking? They're kind of screwed. And the strength card, you know, this card has been coming up lately about the American people having all the power. And they're still looking to the emperor to save them. You know, the emperor has no clothes. So that's where Hawley and Cruz and McCarthy and Mo Brooks are. They're still looking to 45 to save them. Boy, talk about delusional. What's wrong with these people? Between Pence and these guys, they have like a blind spot in their brains or something. It's weird. Oh, I have a good question that I wrote down here. Does Ruth Bader Ginsburg from the other side have anything to say about what's going on in the Supreme Court? Hey, Ruth. I gotta say about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, when she crossed over to the other side, it was a big relief. I think that woman was in pain. I think she was in so much physical discomfort, and that when she went to the other side, the way it's being shown to me was just like going from being like a heavy like a rock to light as a feather. Aw, Ruth, we love Ruth. I feel like she's saying it's gonna work itself out. And I do see, and I said it the other day, that I see three new appointees to the Supreme Court, and they are women of color. They're women, and they're women of color. One is well, maybe not all three, but one. I feel like one is white woman, and the other women of color. The High Priestess. So this is what I'm picking up from Ruth Bader Ginsburg and what she thinks about the Supreme Court, what she wants to tell us about the Supreme Court, and this is behind the scenes activity to oust Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett. Amy Coney Barrett was like the worst possible choice to replace her. And talk about horrible people. When 45 and McConnell were just like completely just pushed through Amy Coney Barrett, and then she got her like appointment and that celebration on the front lawn of the White House, and you know everybody got COVID. What a you know what show. Anyway, the strength, the American people have the strength, the people have the power, and it's going to feel like a balancing act, but don't worry, because we do have the power. So Ruth Bader Ginsburg is popping in. I see 3 new Supreme Court appointees. By when? A year and a half. I feel like a year and a half. And what about Mitch McConnell? That's not on my list of questions that I wrote. I was so good. I wrote down my questions. And now this video is getting very long. But that's okay. You don't have to watch the whole thing. You can break it up. Some psychics on YouTube will go on for an hour and a half. I don't know how they do it. Because I'm just afraid people get like, okay, enough. It's good enough. I had enough of net for today. Okay, so the Amy Coney Barrett. There's something about her that's going to be yeah. You know, our justice system needs to get a lot better. The Women's March. I do want to ask about. This is the women dancing their way to the top. The Queen of Swords being led by people like Kamala Harris and Nancy Pelosi. I just have to say it like I see it. The hangman means that the great goddess is on our side. That's from Ruth. And Ruth is actually, I'm picking up from Ruth that she was a very spiritual woman. I don't remember hearing, I haven't really looked into her life that much. I don't remember how religious she might have been, but she's telling me that she had help from the other side when she was here. She had strong angel help. Something about the Jewish faith, and she had strong angel help. Interesting. Okay. What's going on with Greg Abbott? I can't resist. You know, me that, and you know, just DeSantis. I put those two together, as you probably know by now. DeSantis, I feel like the thing that he's been doing that's so illicit is I feel like he has investments, he has stocks in the drug, the COVID treating drug, which is why he just Resveratrol. I can never remember. No, I can never. I'm gonna write it down next time. Rem something. Anyway, that drug for COVID that 45 had administered, which I think is the reason that 45 lived, was because he had those drugs. And I feel like DeSantis is thinking about the bottom dollar and not caring about people's lives, and is figuring that the more people that get COVID, the more money he's going to make. Boy, big pharma's all over the place, isn't it? So corrupt. The Four of Cups. This is Abbot and DeSantis. There's something they're not looking at that they should be looking at, but they really are banking on having ultimate power and control, and they're not. This is interesting. It's like 45 thought that the coup would work and only was considering that reality in his mind, like that outcome in his mind. Same with DeSantis. The outcome he has in his mind is nobody's going to get me because I'm going to have I'm going to keep being all powerful. The great and powerful Oz. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. Abbott's the same. And the Fool card's coming up. I don't have to pick 3 cards. I usually pick 3 cards, but this is it. He's not looking at the consequences for what he's doing. Neither is Abbott. They're both being fools. That's the second time I pulled the Fool card about Republicans today. I'd bring the camera down, but it's just too much finagling. But I'm just picking these cards, just I shuffle and pick them. How are Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert feeling after the no-shows today? I heard Marjorie Taylor Greene was on the way overseas somewhere. Keeps coming up. It's amazing. That's how they're feeling. They're freaking out. This is Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Matt Gaetz is in that category too. And they're trying to like not talk about it. They're trying to act like everybody's still on their side. The guys just said Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, they're not going to last. And they think they have a lot more fans and followers than they actually do. So that's what's up with that. They're delusional. That's the word that I've been, skirting around. Delusional. That's the word. That pins it. Because I feel like a lot of people are wondering about that missing girl. I'll just tell you what I got, because of course I tune in. I know people want to know. It's very sad. The word snapped came to mind. That means somebody snapped. And he is guilty. That's what I'm going to say in a nutshell. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. That's such a terrible situation. That's all I got. That's all I got on that. I can't go further on a YouTube video. Can't go further on a YouTube video. That's my psychic impression. This channel is not fact-based. This channel is for entertainment purposes only, and I'm just giving my psychic impression. I got the word snapped and I got the word guilty on him. Okay, next. I don't want to be in that energy very much, but I know people are wondering. I have, let's see, I'll be back in a day or so. I'm on a schedule of every 2 to 3 days, but I do want to ask about Kim Jong-un. What's going on with him? And the guides are telling me that he's getting very nervous. The leader of North Korea is getting very nervous. And that nervousness gives me the sense that he's planning something that he's not sure he can pull off. And it feels like it's around South Korea. Don't get alarmed. I don't think he can pull it off. It's a big, big, big risk. Oh, and we have to ask about Russia too. So we're going on 50 minutes here. It's going to take me forever to upload this. Kim Jong-un is he's very not well. And the U.S. intelligence is going to know more about that pretty soon. We're okay. I feel like Kim Jong-un is thinking about doing something very dangerous and very risky, but I feel like he's gonna he's just sort of showing what he has, you know, just he's bluffing. I'm not sure that's him. I've said it for a while. I'm not sure that's him. Let's ask the pendulum. Is that really Kim Jong-un? Is it really him? No. Maybe he has a twin. It's weird. I've been saying that for a long time. One other thing. Okay, I had said some time ago, I know I always say that, but it's true. I said some time ago that I didn't see Putin in... I don't see him. I don't see Putin. I feel like he's not well, and I feel like he's not going to be around for too much longer. Either he's going to transition out of this lifetime, and I don't even remember where I heard it, that he's very ill right now. Vlad is feeling bad. So let's see what's going on with that. I feel like he's in a place where he wants to feel better so bad. Kind of like 45 when he got COVID. I feel like Vlad has COVID. But I don't know. It's weird because I see the people of Russia cheering. Isn't that awful? Live a good life so people don't cheer when you pass away. He's being challenged. Putin. He's getting the top care in the world. But I see somebody else being the leader. I see somebody else being sort of groomed for the position of being the leader of Russia. I've kept you for way too long. This is 52 minutes. It's a record. But as I told you, one of my favorite things to do on a Saturday afternoon is to do readings. AnnetteDion7@gmail.com is where to send an email if you'd like to book a personal reading. Would love to have you. I can still get you in on Tarot at the Castle if you're interested in signing up, because we had technological difficulties for the first class. You'd think it was a Mercury retrograde, but this class is well worth the wait. It's really an incredible thing, and being there the other night, it's really haunted. So it could be interesting, especially going through Halloween. So if you want to sign up for Tarot at the Castle, just send me an email and I'll give you the details. Or you can go to hammondcastle.org. I'm pretty sure the registration is still open. Thank you so much. AnnetteDion7@gmail.com, and also Church of Spirituality every Sunday on Facebook Live, 7 to 8 p.m. And I think that's it. If you share and if you subscribe, that gets me closer to 1,000 subscribers so I can go live. And thank you so much for your kind comments. Have a great full moon. I'll be back on Monday on the full moon. Okay, namaste. Bye.